That's what I wanted. Can they stop that drone?
Yeah, they're slanted.
Here we go. Stop recording. Oh, it's still recording. Whoops. All right, here we go.
So what do you think about Joanne right now?
Return to game.
Joanne? I love my man.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Sounds pretty good.
You don't think so?
I'm going to have to speak up a little bit. That's all.
Okay.
We're streaming? Shit, I hit the wrong button. Start streaming, start recording.
Let's think of 3 things we want to talk about.
Predictions.
Predictions? Do you want to do a shout out to Leroy? Or...
Shout out to Leroy, and we can talk about my theory.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We're live.
we're live.
We're live.
Shit. Hey, what's up?
I don't know how many people are on, but see streams resumed. Yep. And we're live. That's what drew me off.
Yeah.
And apparently we're good. I don't know if this thing, it says live here. There we go. Hey everyone.
I wish you could see this view.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful.
Wish
I
you
don't
could
know
see
what
this
this
view.
Let's see if I can try to get a little bit.
Temporarily raise it.
A little
there
bit
you
of
go.
There we go.
That's it. This is called the Gorge. It is the most beautiful place to see music ever.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a more beautiful place. To
No,
see.
no, you're absolutely right. Let me put that tweet out there, let everybody know. There we go. All right. Everybody tell your friends. We're streaming live. You checking your hair?
Well, we've been in the pool for a little bit, so the hair is seen better days. I know we're dark, but it's all about that view.
It's all about that view. Priorities.
It's a lot better looking than we are.
No kidding. Larry Boy already joining us.
Love you, Larry.
Larry.
Boa. Captain Stabbin.
Cap. Let's see what we got here. Everything working?
We're just going to make sure everything's set up, and we're going to kick this thing off.
Yeah. I don't know if everything's going. I mean, I think it is, but the false start probably screwed us. 4 people watching.
Is that our near drowning point behind you? Yes, that is very much a little bit south of
We
here.
were out further. We were out
Yes.
further. Well, I don't know what this is
There's
here.
cell phones down there. I took my cell phone somewhere. I don't know where I put my cell phone.
There it is. There it is. Sweet. All right, y'all.
All right. You want to kick it off?
Yeah.
Kick
All
it
right,
off.
everybody. Welcome to episode 97 of the Ants Podcast. And we are doing it from on location. No Skype call here. Joe and I are in Quincy, Washington. And at the Crescent Bar. Are we at the Crescent Bar or is it Suncera?
Suncera right now.
Suncera Resort
Part
right
of the
now.
Crescent Bar.
We're staying in the Crescent Bar. But right now we're at Suncera. We are on the balcony of a friend's place that they're renting, overlooking the Gorge, a pool right down below us. It's 80, sunny,
Beautiful.
gorgeous. Not even windy out.
My
It's
face is
beautiful.
nice and red because I didn't burn. But I love that we're in the same place right now and that we can do this.
Right? Absolutely, baby.
It's been so long since we've been able to get together in the same location.
That's true.
That's
It's
what I
been
love about
when?
this place.
My wedding, right?
Probably.
It's been since May 2017, so it's been a good
Too long.
15 months or so.
way too long.
I picked you up from the airport, and I was like, has it really been over a year since I've seen you?
Ugh. I don't like hearing that.
I know. So, when's the last time we did a poolside podcast? Was this West Palm Beach like 12?
West Palm Beach. So we used to do D&B parties outside of West Palm Beach. We had PGA Resort, beautiful pool, rooms wrap around the pool, overlooking the pool. We decided, hey, let's start doing some podcasts.
Yep.
We had done them before, but we did some video there, and one of the most beautiful places. Not quite as beautiful as this.
No view.
No view like this. It was nice and warm. I'll take
Yeah,
you that.
I'll tell you.
Palm trees everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I can be here with you. Glad
Likewise,
to be
man.
here for
Likewise.
Dave weekend.
Absolutely, and we got
Labor
here.
Dave.
We got here. We rolled into Wild Horse at around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon yesterday. So
We've
got
had
to
a little
visit-
time here.
We got to visit with some cool people, and we popped over to Crescent. It's like this is great. It feels like I've been here obviously a full day plus.
That's what helps you sink in.
Haven't even been to concert yet.
Yeah.
We got a whole weekend ahead
Yeah,
of us.
we
That's
had
awesome.
some time here to let it sink in before the concert start. Which is, if you haven't been here before, spend the extra day, 2 days, come in early. Maybe a little time in Seattle if you want. Come out here. Don't rush it. Enjoy the time out here. That's the way. That's the way to do it. I love being out here.
Yeah,
so much fun.
It's really great, and here we are talking. That the tour has just started back up after a month break about a week ago, right or so.
Yep.
And people have been asking us, "Are you going to do a pod before the tour starts back up?" This and that. life's kind of gotten in the way. This trip has kind of backloaded all of our stuff. So the week leading up to this weekend, we were getting everything done that we couldn't get done this weekend. So unfortunately, we weren't able to lead in with with another podcast. But here we're going to try to do this, and we're going to try to keep the content going. So if y'all want to, maybe tomorrow, or tonight, I don't know.
We don't know what's going to happen. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel because we could pop on there anytime. The other thing we've been doing that you guys haven't been seeing is we've been recording ever since we've been heading out here. Oh, Matt's going to pull it out. We got a little GoPro, we got a microphone, we've been recording stuff the entire way. We hope to put together a video trying to capture this experience for those that haven't been out here before. What is it like? Matt's getting freaked out by some bugs right now. So we're hoping to pull together some good content. Keep you guys tapped into what's going on here D&B wise for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel for the sunset, right?
Oh,
the hill crest of the Gorge, which we try to do every year that we're here.
Yes.
And the sunset.
Yes.
They've been really nice.
Yeah, they've been really good.
I don't know, a little unrelated, but I live closer to Seattle, obviously, and bad news is we've had the fires from Eastern Washington and British Columbia and Northern California all kind of dropping on the Puget Sound region, which has been, it's all around awful. But the one silver lining is we've had some killer sunsets the last couple of weeks.
Make some very
deep orange, beautiful sunsets. Thankfully, we're not getting that. We've got clear skies out here.
Beautiful weather right
just
now.
Just amazing.
Absolutely beautiful weather.
Yeah. Shout out to Larry Boa.
Larry Boa, thanks for joining.
That be the river that he sunk us in, or nearly. There was a split second 2 years ago where I thought, this is it. If I haven't gotten it done in my life up to this point, it ain't happening because I'm going to be on the bottom of the Columbia.
So he thought his life was gone. And he did lose something. Not his life, but he lost his cell phone.
No, and you know what? Somebody asked me last night, did he at least offer to pay for the phone? And I'll say no. No, he didn't.
It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't. I did quantify that by saying I put the phone on the little basket along the boat chair.
We didn't expect to put half of the pontoon boat underwater.
That's true. That's true.
But it happened, and no fault.
Listen, who's dwelling on that? Not us.
Not 2 years later or anything.
No, we're well over it. Anyway, Joe, what are you drinking? Impress me.
I can't pronounce names.
I think it's no. I want you to try though. And I don't even know the correct response to this.
I don't know either. I got a Canadian beer. Thanks to our friend Stan here. Right there.
Kokanee?
Kokanee. It's a local Canadian lager. We're enjoying a little bit of this.
You're a lager fan, right?
I am a big lager fan. Pilsner's lagers. Glacier Fresh beer.
How is it? Is it Glacier Fresh?
It's pretty darn good.
What glacier? Like the snowbank in the front yard in your Cleveland apartment?
Oh, I'm picturing that orange, yellow, brown snow.
Oh, salt, dirt, and dog pee all mixed in. Enjoy that.
Glad you just said that when
that was a great sip.
Glad you said that when I was sipping my beer.
I am enjoying family owned and operated and argued over Sierra Nevada. Now, before I got into craft beer, one of my favorite beers was Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Classic.
Yep.
This is a Sierra Nevada hazy little thing IPA.
Yep.
Now, I'm a big IPA fan overall, and I kind of tend to trend towards the tropical IPAs, so guava, pineapple, mango flavor, the hops that kind of impart that tropical flavor. I'm loving this hazy IPA trend, in that is basically what the hazy's locking in on, is that tropical kind of flavor. So this is actually
nice.
Very good. Cheers, buddy.
We can love that we can do
so
this on
good to hang
purpose.
with you.
Thank you, Mark Voltz, for asking what we're drinking.
Absolutely, Maddie. All right. So we kind of have a loose agenda tonight. We have a couple, 2-3 things we want to talk about. We obviously can't go too long, but we wanted to get this in while everybody else is hanging out at the pool. We got a little sun in. Obviously, this guy got a little sun in. Oh, man.
Do I look? Does the camera pick it up?
You are. Oh, boy. You're getting redder, too. Anyway, Joe's going to request that I give him a little suntan, sunblock tomorrow, apparently.
Rub aloe
not
all over
getting
me.
it. Not getting it. But we want to talk about a few things. Obviously, we have a show coming up tonight.
We have 3 shows coming up. One tonight.
One tonight, right? And it's been we're in the last, 15% of the tour or so. We only got a few shows after the Gorge. Mm-hmm. This has always been a staple that everybody looks to, kind of a landmark, a milestone in any tour that they embark on. I think there's a little more apprehension this year. I don't know, maybe not in you, but there used to be no question. Oh, it's a 3-night stand at the Gorge. We're not getting any repeats. But I think tonight tonight talking about it, the consensus is, You got to expect at least a couple, right?
Well, will there be any repeats if I say do not include Samurai Cop?
That's absolutely nonsensical.
I know it's not.
It is.
I know it's a question. So yes, I want a 3-night repeat, and that would be amazing. Strangely enough, there's been a number of 2-night stands this tour, and only 3 of the 2-night stands have no repeats.
How many 2-night stands have there been?
At least
More than 6, less than half, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Which
So-
is not that's a recent trend.
Yeah.
That's no matter where.
I don't
right?
know, for an album tour, I mean, because the ones that have really been repeating has been Samurai Cop, has been Louisiana Bayou.
Well, Bayou's not an album song. That's kind of egregious.
Yeah, it's just been the song of the tour, though. Because we had, like, recently was the song of the tour, like, a couple years ago, that got played, like, quite a bit.
You want to hear an unpopular opinion? I don't mind Bayou.
You with an unpopular opinion?
No, I think I'm like Larry David. I say what you're thinking. You're welcome, by the way.
Is it Larry David or Jerry Seinfeld?
If you are a fan of Seinfeld, and I love Jerry Seinfeld, but if you watch Seinfeld and you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, you realize that Seinfeld is more Larry David than Jerry Seinfeld. And Jerry's brilliant.
I
Don't get
can't.
me wrong.
I am not on a. I don't have a footing
We'll leave
to
that to you
debate
guys to
that.
decide, yeah.
You guys can decide that one.
I like Bayou. That'll be enough. So Thomas Dixon from our YouTube live channel says that Jimmy repeat in my honor.
Yeah. Sexy
I
motherfucker.
called that.
Sexy motherfucker.
I called that. I would not be surprised at all.
I don't think they'll do double Jimmy.
So
I mean,
let's-
if they repeat,
I will throw the album songs away because the 2009 tour, the 2012 tours.
that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would they repeat a new album song?
Well, that would be egregious if you ask me. That's lazy. That's lazy.
They do Time of the Season twice.
Lazy.
They do.
And you know what? For what it's worth, and it's subjective, right? In terms of, I want to hear this cover out of nowhere, Time of the Season's not firing me up. I don't know about you.
I love Time.
You
of the
like
Season.
it, huh?
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, okay, whatever, but
Of the season. Boom,
Joe, who's
boom,
your daddy?
Boom.
down.
I think it's cool. I like it. It's fun.
Okay.
I would take that over a lot of other stuff. They've been playing some covers though. They
I
have
want to see some Dave and Friends covers rolling. We talked about it last night we played it. I want to see Salisbury Hill. I want to see Peter Gabriel.
Okay, so not a cover of Dave and Friends. You want a cover
Sure.
that Dave and Friends
Sure.
have covered.
Yes. I mean, they Will It Go Round in Circles, Up on Cripple Creek. You know, all that kind of stuff is in this band's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And especially with Buddy, I think they can really stretch that out.
Do you want to hear something very depressing?
It's not it's not showtime yet, is it?
So here's what we know that's happening this weekend. We know that Friday night is going to be streamed on Sirius
That's
XM.
true. That's the extended channel. Is it going through the end of this month or next month?
This is the last one.
Okay.
And then we know, which sucks because there's like one more Friday show, I believe.
it, yeah.
And it might be, but why can't we just get that one? But anyway, we know Friday is live streaming on Sirius XM. We also know, recently announced, that Saturday is going to be live streamed video on YouTube via DMB
DBLivestream.com.
live stream. So we actually have learned a couple things from that. When it's going to be an audio live stream and it's going to be a video live stream, we know that it's unlikely to get guests. And actually, Gorge has gotten a lot of guests lately.
That's
We've
true.
had Mike McCreevy. We've had
Brandy Carlisle.
Brandon Carlisle.
Danny Barnes.
Danny Burns, yeah, infamously, I guess is the right word. So this means an interesting thing for Gorge this weekend is that guests are probably unlikely unless it's going to be Sunday at that point because of all of the live streaming. And you guys get to watch along. You guys get to see this, so that's going to kind of make it kind of fun.
Yeah.
Listening to what's going to get played. We'll see what happens Sunday. Openers, Moon Taxi.
That tonight, or is that all three?
We're probably out of touch, but we should know. We don't know.
I know.
Preservation Hall Band is
I remember,
play.
what was it? Was Lake Street Dive 2 years ago?
Yep.
They're playing at the Chateau Ste. Michelle
yeah, they're
Winery
huge.
this year.
They're awesome.
Not that necessarily defines huge, but Chateau. I mean, they get some good shows over. That's a winery in Woodinville, Washington, which is near where I live, and they're good people over there.
But I would love a guest appearance from Preservation Hall Band. The DMB, the members of DMB and Preservation Hall Band have a lot of connections. And actually, you may not know this, is some of the photo shoot from Big Whiskey down in New Orleans was shot in front of Preservation Hall, where the famous venue where the Preservation Hall band plays.
You want to know where that comes to mind? Where that reminds me is Top Chef. It's a famous food venue. Yeah.
And it's actually has some history in D&B history. Preservation Hall does, because as D&B was shooting the photo shoot outside in front of Preservation Hall, again, if you've seen the photos, it's the full band, Rashawn, Jeff, and it's like this wooden, distressed wood in the background. Yeah. While that photo shoot was going, I don't want to say homeless man, I'm not sure, was walking by was asking for some money for a whiskey. He's like, can I get some money for a whiskey? And Dave gives the homeless guy, I believe, a $20 bill. And the homeless man goes, that's a big whiskey.
That's cool.
And Rashawn said to Dave then, that's an album title right there.
They probably already had Gorge King in mind.
Right. And Rashawn said that's a good album title right there. And so the story goes that it's Gorge King and the big whiskey in the Gorge King because
by far the coolest album title since Before These Crowded Streets.
Creative, definitely creative.
Very, very much so.
It's got actually a bit of creative and actually a bit of like personal to it. Because the Gorge King. I don't think we knew about.
We didn't know the groove thing until that album, and then it came out, and thankfully they did kind of explain it. Yeah. I think the cooler album, not cooler, but Under the Table and Dreaming is a fantastic album title.
Yeah,
I'm always a fan of lyrics being a title more than the title of a song, and Crash is kind of
Tomorrow.
It follows that. It still counts.
Come Tomorrow.
But Come Tomorrow, Stand Up, Busted Stuff.
That would be a great question. Actually, we should ask the YouTubers. If anybody's on YouTube and has some good ideas, if you were to rename Come Tomorrow for a lyric, not a song title, a lyric, what lyric would you rename that album for? We'll let you guys write. You guys think about something there.
I'm going to think about that later.
Yeah.
I can't do it right now.
That'd be pretty cool if you could rename Come Tomorrow.
In addition to the story about the big whiskey, you had Alligator Pie getting a little bit of street sound, right? From the guy throwing his way. I got
bananas and apples.
Yeah, cucumbers, avocados.
I wish I remembered his name.
I thought that was really cool. Lily White was famous for that, like the ping pong during Lion Our Graves. There's stuff like that doesn't add anything materially to the song, but when you want to take that extra level, put the headphones on and listen deep and absorb it all, that is the stuff that really lets you keep coming back years later and being like,
finding new stuff.
Right.
Or just finding new things. At first listen, you don't hear those kind of things. There's a lot of layers. You hear some new stuff.
We're gonna go into this a little bit more later, but we were talking earlier about when you got into the band, and one of the things that comes to mind with me, and I bought Under the Table and Dreaming, so I can say I was a fan from nearly the beginning, and I was younger, right? But Crash was really the album that started that, and I remember my friends telling me about this song 41. And it's darn near studio perfection, that 41 Say Goodbye. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find a better effort from the band in the studio. But I remember what he pointed out to me was not the lyrics, the verse, the chorus, anything. You know what it was? What he put? Listen for this. Hear this. Do you remember? Would you take a guess at what that is?
No.
Leroy's Flute Flutter. Why won't you ever be? And he plays that little flute right there.
Wow.
Listen to 41, that part, and he points that out to me. Why won't you ever be glad? He plays the flute like that, and it's just something you might not hear or pay attention to, but I was like, whoa, that's pretty.
Subtle.
And I was, at that point, I was 14 years old, and it was amazing.
So we have to say, 10-year anniversary of Leroy Morris passing.
Yeah.
I can remember the day like yesterday that it happened. And talking to a lot of D&B fans that have been around, and if you're a new D&B fan and haven't actually got to see a show with Leroy Moore, and you hear some of us talk about why we get so emotional about it, there's something about his playing that was so infectious, and it's crazy to believe that it's only been 10 years that he's been gone. But we just hit his 10-year anniversary. We posted up on D&B Hub a series of highlighted songs that he's played over the years. They're not necessarily the most best or anything, but just completely unique experiences from Leroy. And his influence has definitely been on the band ever since that day, even though he's not here anymore. Clearly Rashawn, clearly Coffin, who was handpicked by Leroy to replace him. are influenced by him, but he was definitely, as Dave would say, like unlike anything else.
And it's funny because if you knew Leroy or if you interacted with him, he was the last guy to take the front seat.
No.
In terms of that, he shied away from the stage. He was shy, like the sunglasses at night kind of thing.
Didn't like to
that
see
wasn't a
people.
style thing. That was he was a reserved guy. Didn't really like to be the face of anything, and yet he was such a driving force in the direction of the band, their studio efforts, their arrangements. This was, I mean, not only was he a core member of the band, he was one of the ventricles in the heart of the band. I mean, he drove that.
I miss him. I'm glad we have recordings of him. I'm glad this band recorded so much stuff with him.
And it's like the more time that goes by, and not to cut anybody modern, but you see what we miss because things are different. Things have changed, and you realize that he wasn't just a sax player, man. He was a part of the core of this band, and for better or worse, the band has changed since he's gone. So we miss you, Roy.
Cheers, Roy.
I wasn't expecting that. Little dusty in here. I remember that night, and everybody's been, who's followed this band knows the feeling of when those rumors come out, whether bad or good. You get the crowdsource, the viral fire of a rumor that passes through the Twitter and online and the forums. And I remember when that one started rolling, and I reached out to a contact of mine at the band's management, and he answered. And I said, "Hey, I hate to bother you, but I'm hearing this. Is it true?" And hey, Matt, let me call you right back. And at that point, I'm like, "Oh no, it's absolutely true, right?" That was everything I needed to hear. And I didn't hear back from him, and that was all I needed to know.
Do you remember where you were at? I have the camera here.
I was in the car. Do we know what day that was?
It was definitely during the week. I remember that.
So what was the anniversary? It was the 18th, 19th?
Whatever Sunday was.
Sunday. I wonder what day it was.
Calendar.
Yeah, I will pull up the calendar.
I would say
It's
20th or
2008.
19th or 20th, whatever Sunday was.
Whatever this Sunday was in August.
yes.
It was the 22nd,
No.
right? No, it's Sunday, 19th.
Yep.
It was the 19th.
Yep.
So let me see what the 19th was in 2008, right? So in 2008, the August 19th was a Tuesday. I want to say I had a recreational volleyball match at a local sports bar that I was going to. I was driving there.
Okay.
And that's where I was. I remember later that night when I got home, a bunch of DMB fans got on. And this is 2008, right? Twitter's just getting going, so it's not really big. But we joined in on a conference line. I don't know what line it was, right? But about 10 or 20 Dave Matthews Band fans got on. I think Rachel might have been on it. But we all just kind of just talked. Like, we very much...
Shocking.
Very possible that nobody around you, or no one in your family maybe even knew or understood, how much we were into this band. And we kind of just got on this call and just told stories about, how Roy... I ran into him at in the parking lot of Ralph Wilson Stadium in 2001. He was driving around in a golf cart. And on the Warehouse website, there was a picture of us with Roy in the golf cart.
That's amazing.
I have that picture. I screen captured it.
It's amazing.
But I told a story that came to mind when I first met the band. It was 2001. This is before Ants. Every Day had just come out. They were on Total Request Live. And a friend of mine got tickets to the TRL studio session.
MTV TRL.
Yes, and she was in New York City. I was in Albany in college at the time. And she's like, "None of my friends down here want to go. Can you come down tomorrow?" I'm like, "I'll blow off class. I'll come down for TRL." Yeah. I come down and we're like in the hallway outside the studio, and her contact drops the ball. Meanwhile, everybody goes in and we're stuck out there. Anyway, she gets on the phone. Anyway, thank God we get let in. But we're late, right? I've got that yellow Carter Beaufort soccer jersey on. You know what I'm talking about? The one I used to sell. And I was that guy, yeah. Poor Stacy. She gets pulled into the studio, right? We're all going through. Meanwhile, Bruce Floor, who I've come to know and run into every time I'm in Charlottesville, is a great guy. The A&R guy for BMG Records. Now I think works for Red Light. Pulls me, think, "Oh,
Look at that jersey."
has Carter seen you? And he pulls me back down this other hallway, throws me in this room. It's the green room. The band's in there, chilling, right? So I'm saying hi to everybody. They're all very gracious. Carter gives me this huge hug, gives me some drumsticks, signs my jersey. Matt, you're the man, Carter Beaufort. Dave signs my jersey.
Ridiculous.
I'm saying hi to everybody, and I see, hey, Leroy. And in high school, which was not that far in the past at this point, I said, hey, Leroy, hey, I played saxophone too. He goes, oh, yeah, I played drums. Everybody cracks up laughing, and Leroy breaks my balls. So that was my Leroy story on that phone call. If you're kind of commiserating.
I can't believe you met him. I mean, I was not lucky enough to have met him in person.
And a shy guy, not outgoing, but at the same time, he wasn't like just sitting in a corner away from the bed. He broke my balls.
He loved to laugh, I believe. I mean, I didn't get to know him personally, but everybody that has known him, from what I've heard, loved to laugh, loved to bust people's balls.
Yep.
So again, I miss you, Leroy.
One more
time for that. Which probably brings us to tonight. We're gonna see a show tonight. I know you have a theory. Before we get into predictions, I think you have a theory about a fan that comes to any show or just of what they think about the new album.
Yeah.
Might have something to do with when they got into DMB.
Yep.
And I don't know where have you formed this idea
so,
from?
It comes from the fact that in talking and debating and discussing the band with various fans, I'm getting a lot of different sense. My sense, I've been a fan since '94 and got really into them. Like, Ants started in '02. That means my fanship and hardcore started in '99, 2000. And right now, I'm not in a great place with the band. I'm disappointed with Come Tomorrow.
As a podcast listener, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No secret there. I'm disappointed. And this tour, I'm extremely disappointed with. And even with the shows that have come out around SPAC and Deer Creek, and where it seems like the band actually give a crap, and now we're back to the same sets. It's like, man. So, and then you talk to people and other fans who say they've never sounded better. I love the sound, this and that. And I try to see where that dichotomy is. Where is the difference happening here? Are my ears different? Am I just a pessimist? Because I'm talking to a lot of other people who kind of share my opinion too. So I'm like, okay, it's not just me, but where's the divergence here? And I had a theory that I've noticed a lot of people. I ask, when did you get into the band? Oh, 2005, 2006, 2003. Oh, okay. And it brings me back to when I'm a kid. My dad is a huge James Taylor fan. He's seen him probably 60, 70, 80 times. And James Taylor's concerts aren't as diverse even as Dave Matthews Band. It's more of a... In any given tour, you're going to get the same show. And James Taylor's been around since the early 60s. When I started listening to James, it was when I was a kid in the mid-80s, and my dad would play the tapes. And of course, James Taylor in the 80s sounds a lot different than Fire and Rain and Sweet Baby James and Up on the Roof. I mean, a lot different. And I asked him, I said, Dad, did you have a tough time getting into the 80s stuff, And he's like, yeah, I did. It's interesting because I love James Taylor in the 80s, but I can still go back and appreciate his original stuff that was 10, 15, 20 years prior.
Okay.
So that made me think, okay, I'm a fan. I started 94, 98. Somebody who walks in at 2005, that's their bar. They can still go back and appreciate Before These Crowded Streets and Crash and Under the Table and Dreaming. But their bar has been set at Stand Up or Every Day or something like that. So while they can appreciate the old stuff and really like it, their expectations are...
Oh, we're getting a beer delivery.
I'm good.
Dan, you rock. Oh, come on. You got to have one.
All right, I'll share that with you. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
I at the same time, their critique, the line that they draw is not critical, right? They're not used to being introduced to Before These Crowded Streets, Run to the Table and Dreaming. They were introduced. They were a fan of the band at Stand Up. So while they can go back and say, yeah, I like Before These Crowded Streets, that's my favorite album, they still have a bar, in my opinion, that was set at a level where, if you can look at where the band is right now, are they that far off from where they were in 2005?
You want me to answer?
Quality-wise, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer.
Are the band better or worse than they are in 2005?
Because
Or the same?
because I could say just as good,
Yep.
but it's not the same good. Does that make sense at all?
It's fair. That's
They're
a
not
fair
the
answer.
same good. Because I feel like my good is not like one-sided.
But I would say if you hadn't
One-dimensional.
listened to the band until 2005,
Okay.
I bet you'd be a happier fan right now than you would be if you had started.
That
in
is
90.
the question. That is the question.
Because there's something about when you're first introduced to a band, that is the identity that no matter how much you listen to, no matter how far back you go, no matter how long you listen to them, the identity of that band when you start listening to them stays with you.
Well, it's something about music in general. I think music, what you really enjoy about music is about your atmosphere, about how you're experiencing that music,
Yep.
your friends.
What kind of stage of life you're in at that
Yeah.
point.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
some of the best music could be very like calming and maybe more mellow music. But if you're in that kind of state right now, that might be some of the best music that you like at that time.
Maybe. I still think it's more specific to the band when you listen to them. Yes, that it has an influence, but an original James Taylor fan might think his 80s stuff is cheesy as all get out, and yet I love it.
Yeah.
And I know that some 80s stuff is cheesy, and yet that's what I started listening to him, and I love it. And I can still go back and love Sweet Baby James, or Country Road.
We've been testing this theory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting theory, and love to hear what other people think. Like, based on when you started listening to the band, historically, how you feel, and then going forward, how you feel. What's interesting, though, with DMB is some fans have gotten into DMB recently.
Yes.
But by listening to old stuff.
Yes.
Like
live tracks.
It's like, I just got into DMB, but it wasn't because of Come Tomorrow. It's because they were listening to live tracks, or
Right.
their friends were playing other stuff. And so, that's interesting dynamic.
It's the TV binge watching paradigm. It is. The fact is, all of it's new to them at that standpoint. It's already baked in. So they listen to Stand Up, they listen to Away from the World or Big Whiskey, and it's not like you're anticipating it.
Right.
Because it's already happened, so I'm going to absorb this. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's what the band is. Where if you go back and binge watch a TV show, you're just going crazy. If you do that with 3 seasons, now you're going to watch season 4 live.
Yep.
The bar somehow gets higher. Your standards are set, your expectations are there, and now you can be disappointed. And it doesn't really make sense because every music that you haven't heard is new music. But for whatever reason, if it's already happened, I think, it's almost you get a pass because there's no anticipation.
Right.
It's already happened, so I just got to listen to it when I have time. It's really weird, but I think it kind of lines up with that paradigm.
You need the new albums, though, to attract new people, though. And I
do?
wonder how much Come Tomorrow has brought in new fans. I think the fans, recent fans, and I'm an older fan, but even the recent fans, you just cracked it. I want to crack that in the
Did you
microphone.
see that?
I want to crack it on the microphone. Ready?
You've always been good at that.
I try my
Your
best.
opinions might stink, but you can open a beer. Well, Craig Barrelet, I hope I pronounced that properly. I should have let him say it and just
Really
kept
butcher
on
it,
with
and you
that.
can laugh at
Because
me.
I was jaded by 2014. I took 4 years off, not entirely intentionally, but I finally got to a show this year, and my perspective completely changed. It was one of the best times I've had at a show.
Wow, that's awesome.
By pulling back, and he's been
Wow.
a fan since '94.
That's
So,
cool.
Craig, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Craig, yeah.
And I don't know if it ties in more to the TV show model, where if you anticipate that season coming up, it might be good, but at close range, myopically, it's not you can't appreciate it as much. You're dissecting it too much show to show.
It's all about perspective, like you just said there. What perspective are you putting them in?
But I think it has to do with when you started listening to the band. That's my theory, and
if you maintain that perspective from when you started, you can change your perspective.
Oh, no, I don't think you can change when you start. You can't change when you started.
You can't
and
change.
what identity that band forges in your gut.
You can't change that.
You can or you can't.
You can't change when you started.
Right.
But can I rate a band or listen to a music's band and realize they are 10 years more mature? Can I give them the perspective of 10 years mature, or do I have to hold them to the perspective of 10 years immature?
Well, here's the thing.
Do I have to sing about boobs and drugs and all
but
this
I would
stuff to
argue
be
is-
cool?
I would
No,
ar-
10 years later, I can listen to them and have the perspective of most recently 10 years.
I would argue his lyrics have never been more shallow. Here's the thing: 10 years
Depends,
of
but what is
10 years of
shallow?
maturity. And music's okay to change, but I hope that it gets richer and better. And I almost feel like we've digressed. where that standard that's been set, I'm okay with 10 years. Music should be different. If they put the same album out every time, it'd be terrible. But I want that to kind of grow. And not every album's going to be a gangbuster. But I almost feel like come tomorrow. I mean, we don't want to relitigate this, but it's after my opinions of it being an afterthought and a thrown together. Let's just get this over with. But I want to see 10 years of growth. I don't want to just see 10 years of time pass and then we digress.
I mean, it could be 10 years of transition. It doesn't have to be 10 years of growth. I don't know. I mean, this is probably a deeper thing. You can
10 years of change.
10
yes.
years of change.
But where is that quality level?
That's what you're saying, growth. Oh, we gotta
live studio audience, and we gotta go. We gotta go.
How much time we have?
I feel like we need to shower.
We need a shower. So give us like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
We got 5 to wrap.
Wrap it up.
Producer says we gotta go.
Thanks, producer. So let's end with what are your predictions for night one? Because I think we're gonna try to chime in a couple times throughout the weekend. What do you think for? Should we predict the weekend or should we predict night one?
I think night one's good. We're gonna try to get this a little more local and hopefully add some more shows, podcasts.
Did they come out strong night one, or do they start slow and build? We got Sirius XM tonight.
I hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think we've got a really generic show vis-a-vis this tour.
I don't hope you're wrong. I hope that's the case. Here's an interesting thing: is if we know that Dave loves to like troll the fans.
It seems that way.
If he wants to be the ultimate troll, Friday is the toughest night for a fan to get to. Just given everything, traveling, or if you
might be late.
If you work in Seattle or anything,
Yep.
It's just tough to get out here for Friday. You might just say, "Hey, we'll go to Saturday, Sunday, or whatever." If there's a night, screw night 3. This is the night to do it. Night 1. So let's just start with this: How many tour debuts will there be tonight? 0? Will there be 1? Will there be 2?
0.
0 tour debuts.
But I will say this: there's no reason they cannot go balls to the wall and shock us tonight. That's what frustrates me about this tour. You saw it in SPAC. You saw it at Deer Creek. That they're capable of bringing it, and they have actively and consciously chosen not to in 89% of the shows this tour. So, are you going to bring it at the Gorge, or are you going to just have a layup? There's no reason they can't make every single one of these 3 nights exceptional and unique.
Yeah.
So will they or won't they?
I hope tonight is the most unique
There doesn't.
of them.
None of these shows need to be vanilla. None of them need to be generic.
They don't. But I hope tonight is the best. But the problem is with tonight's the best is that people hold expectations that it will get better from night to
Well,
night.
I'm keeping my expectations low so I don't have a bad time. But I shouldn't have to do that.
You should.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like tonight should be the best, but you can't do that because it ruins it. People will expect more the rest of the night. So that's why I think naturally.
Do they not have enough material to bring that and talent on that stage to bring that every night?
But why does it have to? Why does it have to accelerate? Why can't it be?
It doesn't need to.
But that's what we expect. I expect that.
Bring it, and bring it. 3 nights in a row. Oops. Do they not have a catalog of 300 songs?
Just a line the entire way.
Sure. Different every night. Wild.
Okay, so what was your prediction for tonight?
Oh, I realistically, I think it's basically Colorado night 1.
If you want to hear one song, should I say this weekend or should I say tonight?
Okay.
Weekend I feel like is a little bit of a harder song
I
to
would
hear.
I would hope Raven, but here's the thing: if the Raven and the Stone show up to over 3 nights and that's really it, then big deal. Raven and the Stone should be tonight, and now what other 2 or 3 or 4 deeper catalog songs are going to show up the rest of the afternoon or weekend?
Andrew says 0 debuts. Craig says 4. This is going to be
tonight.
Yes.
I mean, there's no reason why that 4
And
debuts.
also,
What, are we asking for a lot?
Reeves says 0. Thank you guys for the comments on the YouTube. It's going to be very interesting. Dreaming Tree Trees, Reeves. I like that because I would love to hear that tonight.
Craig also wants me to have a loving wing, so this guy is definitely a podcast veteran.
he's trolling you.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to see what happens tonight. We can't commit to when we're going to join in you guys with this, but we're promising we're going to try to keep track of this entire weekend, see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us now.
Thank you.
Thank you for this view.
Yeah, thank God.
We're going to join you here again soon. Thank you for joining. What do you want to close with?
No, we're good. We're gonna try to keep the content rolling. We really thank you for sticking with us, and we've been talking about it all night. Let's create content. This is exciting. This is fun.
Yes.
The show is secondary, man. Seeing you guys, this is the best. This is the reason I'm here.
Oh. Joe
dragged me here not for the show. This is why we're here. Right? This is fun, and this is thanks for joining in it with us and being members of Ants and keeping the love going, man.
Thank you guys.
So we will catch you later. Here's to a great show tonight. Everybody, if you're going to the show, be safe.
Yes.
If you're couch touring it, listening on Sirius XM, enjoy as well.
We want to hear your opinions next time we're on.
Take care, y'all.
Cheers.